Namaste, Marcus here again. And most of my adult life, since I was 19, I was macrobiotic. I started to learn about and understand the complementary opposites of yin and yang. I was macrobiotic, so it was very important to understand all these concepts. And in later years, I studied more and more about Eastern philosophies, especially some Japanese philosophies and Asian philosophies in general, and realized the importance of knowing about this. And over many, many years, I was striving to reach balance in my life, especially in my what we call spiritual life, and in my journey of understanding and knowing, in fact. And I've recently had a great revelation, actually, that probably a lot of you are already aware of, but for me, it's something that's become obvious now. And in the 90s, I was very blessed to find, or a teacher in Kabbalah found me, and that allowed me to spend those next years to not only be in balance, but to find equilibrium. Some people may not be aware there's a difference. There is a vast difference between balance and equilibrium. And it took some time, but I did manage to, in my view, reach that equilibrium in my spiritual journey, in my understanding of things. And of course, what's been going on now for thousands and thousands of years, let's say what I call the modern age, is from the Bible onwards. In the beginning, it says, the first word of the Bible, in the beginning. And from those days, the modern era, as I like to call it, we have been experiencing eras of darkness, eras of light. And this is just the way it is. We have to have darkness to feel the benefit and see the benefit of light. Without light, we would not understand darkness either. The two are essential. And of course, the great misunderstanding we've had over all these years is that they're two opposites who work in harmony. And that is true. But it's only true in the fact that they are two opposites that work in harmony to create the oneness. They are, in fact, parts of the oneness. They are the oneness in motion. And the oneness in motion is what we see when we look at this diagram. It's not actually two complementary opposites at all. It's the oneness as it flows from light to dark, from yin to yang, constantly. And if we were to slow that down to the extent of our last, say, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5,000 years, we would see how things changed one way then t'other. Beings like myself, who are what we call light workers, are striving for the light to come back. In the 80s, I was involved with a great Japanese organization called Mahikari, who talked about the ancient Japanese teachings, some of which mentioned the end of the reign of the moon gods, which we have just gone through, and the new reign of the sun gods, obviously the darkness and the light. We're now in this new age, the Aquarian age, the golden age of light. We have been in the ages of darkness for a long time, since what we know as the Middle Ages, or better known as the Dark Ages. And those Middle Ages, there was a lot of darkness in the world, for sure. Lots of terrible things. And today, we are at the end of all this darkness, light, from one to the other, from one to the other. And the reason I understand equilibrium now is because I have lived many lifetimes on what we may call the dark side. Not lifetimes I'm proud of now in this life to admit to, but things I did that would not be considered things of a light worker, let's say. But only through going through those events in my lifetimes have I become who I am now. Like I always say, or my guidance always says, everything that happens to us is so that we become who we need to be now. All this darkness of lives and the darkness allowed me now to become full of light, full of understanding of what that light and darkness actually is. And here we are, the new age, the golden age, the age where we are ascended. Those of us who have raised their consciousness to fifth dimension and above will be aware now that there is no yin and yang. There is only the oneness as it traverses in its journey from being more yin or more yang, as we've discussed previously in other videos. It's not yin or yang, it's more yin, more yang. And this is the oneness in action, as we see here. You could actually say they're not red and blue now, but they're purple. They're all one colour of purple, because this is where we have reached, or we are very close to, let us say. And this is also why we see so much different events happening in our world. Two reasons, really. One, to allow it to dissipate and go fully from our existence. And two, for people to understand this is not how they want to be continuing going forward in the new world. And we need to do things to change it, change our understanding, change our consciousness, change our way of doing things, of being. This is our new unity now, our new understanding of unity. And so here we are, moving onwards and upwards, as I like to say. And the yin and yang are melding together to create the unity consciousness that we are connecting to. Those of us who have raised our vibration are now connecting to that unity consciousness, the oneness of all things. There's no yin and yang there. There's just being. Just being. Interesting, isn't it? It's a fact. There's no question in my mind. This is the way it is now. Namaste.